Hello and welcome back to Da Boys Fantasy Football Podcast, a podcast that only talks about our league. Welcome back. First episode of the year, might be the only episode of the year. Just getting into it here, and my mic is broken. Camera setup is all messed up. So hey, we're gonna roll through it. I already kind of told you guys. What I'm gonna do here is just gonna be a need based only thing. We just had our draft last weekend, so I wanted to obviously talk a little bit about that. Maybe go over the teams a little bit, and we'll let you all get back to your Sunday. So, the draft, the draft. Wow, that was a great draft. It was the best draft that I think. Yeah, I'll say it. I think it was the best draft we ever had. I think in our later years of this draft and the new version of where we're at in our lives, nothing's going to really compare to the times when we were all, in college, didn't have wives, no kids, absolute maniacs getting after it. And then just like even back in the day when everything was so new with the fantasy football, everything was so new with auctions. Some of those were fun because it was the first time we experienced them. This one was just good old fashioned. We all know what we're doing, and we had a good time. So I want to talk about the draft. I want to talk about the party itself a little bit. So thank you all for coming. First off, foremost, the best. That was the best time. Okay, not really insightful, I know, but we absolutely got after it. We were there till 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, still drinking, still going. It's an absolute hack, by the way. If you want your boys to hang out with you, just have them travel really far. Tell them they're sleeping over. And yeah, that I did it. I fucking did it. It was everything I wanted it to be and more. There was a lot of pressure going in. Obviously, I wanted it to be a good time for everyone. Didn't want some of the duds to pop out when everyone's making such much of a time investment. Possibly, pissing off the wife. I think it was worth it in a lot of ways. Peeler, like $500 flight to get here. Dakota had a family trip here. My brother Justin worked this into a family trip with him and Sierra coming down to Arizona. So, and then as well as everybody else, driving 6 hours, 6.5 hours, whatever it is to get here is an investment. And I just want to appreciate everybody. But yeah, I mean that was the key to having it go as crazy it was. We had guys that normally don't go hard, go hard. And I mean, everyone woke up a little hungover. Everyone woke up feeling a little different than we have in years past. So I just want to say kudos to everybody. I thought it was a freaking blast. Thank you all for coming. Werewolf, great game. Told you. Me and Zach, we told you. We told you it rocks. And we played probably 100 games that night, and it was freaking awesome. So, what else? What else about the draft? Yeah, I mean, I still have a ton of alcohol here. A lot of twisted teas left. Tried my best, but I got too many of them. And then a lot of tequila. Peeler said he wanted tequila. We didn't even crack like the second bottle at all. Green tea shots, it was fun. So overall, very happy how it went. As far as the future comes, I don't know. I don't. I think I laid the groundwork to say that this is an option for the future, but I don't want to put that on anybody yet. Certainly, if we have a better option in Vegas, it makes way more sense for one guy to travel there than 14 to travel here. So that might be a surprise to you guys because I think everyone's probably thinking that this is what I want. I mean, yeah, I think it'd be great, but I don't think that is something we need to put out there and say this is what we're doing every single year. So let's get to the draft part of it. The draft was I'm going to give you my experience. It was the worst draft I think I've ever, not the party. I'm talking about the draft. When nuts to butts, it's time to go. It's time to sit down and draft a team. I was the most all over the place, chaotic mess of a person, mess of a human being that I've ever been. I didn't feel in control, not one time. Every pick was a panic pick. The structure of it, I felt like it went really, really fast. So all day long, guys are kind of rolling in, and I'm pretty calm. I'm trying to, I've done all the groundwork. Everything's done. I don't need to set up much. I'm just kind of sitting around and waiting. And a lot of other guys were doing the same thing. And then there gets to a point where we're waiting on one or two guys, Garrett, Zach, to show up. And getting near 5 o'clock and all that. So I start to almost not panic, but I just knew, well, we do got to get this thing going. Those guys finally show up, Garrett and Zach. And then the second, it was just like, all right, here we go. Quick little speech. Forgot everything I wanted to say. And then boom, right into it. And the flex, so obviously everyone knows the big change was 2 flex league, no kicker. What is that going to do to our draft? What are these teams going to look like? Is everything going to go super cheap? Or is everything going to go the way it usually was and, no changes? Everyone kind of comes in with their 1 or 2 guys that they think they're going to target and they're going to go for. Now this is my personal experience. It was a disaster. Okay. I wanted Puka going into the draft. Puka was my guy. Nothing was going to stop me. Puka came out maybe 7 or 8 picks in, and I went for it. Got him for a pretty decent price. So yeah, that was great. And I think that starting off that way, you're like, okay, this is good. But then now, after that first pick, you're like, cool. But then the second and third pick, you're like, all right, well, now I got to think about the 2 flex idea. And for me, that's what kind of caused me to panic. Genty and Omari and Hampton were both picks, the last 2 good running backs called out. And it's like, all right, I have to get them, or my number 1 running back is going to be Quinshon Judkins or David Montgomery, which are fine. Number 2 RBs. And I think we'll get to that because one of you guys has David Montgomery as your number 1 running backs. But yeah, it was a chaotic mess. I think my team is awful. One of the worst teams ever. This podcast isn't about my league. It's about everybody, my team. But it's about everybody. But, starting off in the new year, I don't know everybody's teams quite well. That was another thing I think a note of the draft was normally there's this lull right after the draft. Draft's over, and everyone's trying to figure out, okay, wife's calling, I'm in trouble, I should probably go home. Or is this party really the vibe? Do I want to stay? Do we really want to keep drinking? Do we want to go? Or, some guys are maybe thinking casino. This year, there wasn't that moment. There was the draft's over. Let's fucking get out of here. I felt a relief that the draft was over. So obviously, we had guys already jumping in the pool 5 minutes after the draft ended. But the draft was left up on the TV, and I don't think I looked at it the rest of the night. I don't think there was a moment where we all kind of collectively looked at the draft board, made our bets. We didn't, sit there and be like, days of the sticker overpay, and that's a reach. None of those moments really happened. Now, thinking of that, I'm open to go to a paperboard again. I think that is a crucial moment in the draft, and the TV for me was the most chaotic thing about my house setup. And having guys like Charlie and Dalton, these 2 randoms, kind of come in and help us out run the computer. That was a chaotic part of it. And it worked out really well at Peeler's house. I think it worked. We got through it at my house, but it's something to think about in the future, that maybe a draft board, maybe paper stickers is the way to go in the future. So that was a little side note there, but I was making the point that I haven't really gotten good time to really analyze everybody's teams. From what I see, everybody's teams are all in the same boat, where they've got a few good players, but it doesn't look like there's a clear guy. It doesn't look like there's a clear ones. I'll say there's teams I like more than others. Peeler, Dakota. I like these teams. I liked them a lot going in, after kind of just reviewing them. There's a couple other teams. Like I want to just make a call out, just because Mister made a change this year. Mister was a completely different guy. This is the first year. We have some guys that do the same thing they do every year. Like Tyler, run that same team back, buddy. That is exactly what he always does. It looks the same, right? Austin, he kind of stepped out a little bit, but for the most part, you look at Austin's team, you're like, yep, this is an Austin team. Zach, this is a Zach team. Dakota, this is a Dakota team. Adam, for sure, the most Adam team of all time. But Mister, who would have thought? He got Jamar Chase, so I will say, he couldn't go too far off the beaten path. But the guy gets Jamar Chase. Let me pull it up real quick. But he gets Jamar Chase and then settles back and takes the most balanced approach all time. He gets running backs. Devon Achane, Bucky Irving. Then gets some not massive guys at the number 2 and number 3 receivers. He goes Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Marvin Harrison. And then gets 2 solid tight ends in Sam Laporta and George Kittle. When he comes back, George Kittle's the guy. But Sam Laporta, in a 2-flex league, both of those guys could be in his lineup. I think it's a really balanced approach from Mister. Now, will it work? Is it going to win? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But kudos to change. I think of all the guys in the draft this year, I think he deserves a bit of a shout out for being a little different. My rankings, I had them, okay, and I just don't feel comfortable putting anybody at the bottom spot. We don't know. I don't know. I don't see a single team on here. Okay, I say that, but I know my team is the worst. Okay, I've got Puka, Omarion Hampton, and JT. I spent $256 on all 3 of those guys. If any one of them doesn't hit, I am facing 12th place accusations, assumptions, okay? I had going in, the one strategy was the Puka Stafford stack. Looking back at it, assuming that getting Stafford could have been undraftable, and a lot of other leagues that you guys do, Stafford might be undraftable. He's never been a real big fantasy producer. Even last year, he won the MVP. He was only on a couple fantasy rosters throughout the year, and it was like spot starts. They were the guys that had Burrow. They drafted Burrow, and Burrow was down. I think a couple other big name quarterbacks were not doing well, so Stafford had to fill in. But he's in that same level of Jared Goff and all these guys that they have sure good weeks, but it's too much time on Stafford. Sorry. I had that strategy going in, but looking at it on your fantasy roster, you're like, boy, that's rough. Then I have nothing at receivers. My team is trash, okay? I fucked up. I was really focused on putting on the draft, and I put very little effort in my team, more so than I think I've ever done in the past. And I very, very disappointed waking up and seeing what I got to show for myself. So I will put my team at the 12th spot. I'm not going to go in order here. I just in my notes of who's I got. Let's talk a little bit about Justin JP17's team. Very balanced. I think the story there is Justin is going to be in start sit hell. When we made the 2 flex move, the first guy that was raising his hand saying he wanted 2 flex was Justin. Why? Why, you may ask? The last 3 or 4 years in fantasy, Justin has had super deep teams of a bunch of C plus, B plus players, and constantly would make tough start sit decisions. And more times than not, get him wrong just because fantasy is a fucking game of luck. And the 2 flex thing should help with that. And he did the same thing that he got. I mean, of the benches, Justin's is by far and away the best bench on any of our rosters, okay? Startings, he's got guys that I'm sure he loves, but getting the rookie, Jeremiah Love, $27. I mean, that snuck by everyone, didn't it? There was a few moments in that draft where I was like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? I don't know if it was moving fast, especially once there was a moment when we were trying to get to where Charlie had to leave and then the food was going to be here. We were just blowing through guys, and Jeremiah Love was mixed into that. And $27, I think, rough, because sure, he's a rookie, but he's the starting running back, and he's going to be similar to like Genty last year, where the team's not very good, but they're going to see what they've got in this guy and try to make him a franchise player. And $27 is just disaster. But good for Justin, Could have been, he should have probably gone in the 50s, 60s range. Overall, Justin, the rest of his team, he's got Kenneth Walker. I don't like the way I wrote these notes. Not one bit. But, he's got guys like George Pickens, Brian Thomas, Deebo Samuel. Brock Bowers was a very nice pick, I think, for his team. It's just solid all the way through. So that's all I got for Justin's team. Overall, I mean, a B. Let's say a B. My team is awful. Adam, I said, was the most Adam team of all time. Roma Dunze for $21 is a steal. Tyler Warren, I think potential top 3 tight end. Remember, he was a absolute dog, and then he gets hurt last year. But just Adam getting steals all over the place. Joe Burrow for $10. Even Josh Jacobs for $50 is pretty crazy. Chase Brown, he had to pay a lot for that, but $85. And then he got Tet McMillan. I mean, he's just solid all over. Lad McConkey. Chris Godwin might actually have a really good year this year. He's like you could argue wide receiver 1 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think, he's even like Xavier Worthy. Ridley's dog shit, but yeah, all in all, pretty damn solid for Adam. I don't think that will be a team in contentions for worst team at all. Tyler, James Cook, Kyron Williams. I think he had the same 2 guys last year, but now he's got Cam Scatterbo now, so he's got 3 running backs potentially that could be really good. Kyron's going to be splitting time, but Kyron Williams is my favorite player. So I think he's going to be fine. Jalen Waddle, Christian Watson, DK Metcalf. I mean, he's just fine. These are fine guys. These are starting wide receiver 1s in their offenses, but are they big offenses? We'll see. Laporta, fantastic. I thought I said Mr. Head, Laporta. Oops. Let's ignore that, everybody. Let's ignore that. Hey, it's preseason for all of us. Am I right? Garrett didn't blow it, right? Garrett didn't blow it at all. I think he has some pretty good balance to his team as well. ETN, DeAndre Swift. Swift is garbage, but ETN, maybe that could be something that offense in New Orleans. And God, this is awful. I'm gonna kind of fast forward, boys. The one team that I did want to last talk about, I think it was Donald. That Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley, is that correct? Let me pull up the sleeper app because I think my notes made some mistakes here. Yeah, CMC and Barkley. I mean, CMC, Barkley, and Chris Olave are your big three guys there, right? But then you've got DJ Moore, terrorist, but he's going to have a good year because I've set him free. I've set him free, and he will now be good. He's a wide receiver one in Josh Allen's offense, maybe the first good receiver he's gotten. I think we've said that 4 years in the past, but maybe this year it'll be the year. Come on, Josh. Come on, Josh. Jaden Daniels, fine. Yeah, Donald, solid job, bud. Solid job. Don't hate your team one bit. Let's go on to Zach's team. How do you hate these running backs? Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry. There's more. Hold on. He's got another one. Let's see. Fill the space. Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry, Ramondre Stevenson, and then he's got the backup for Bijan. Solid team. Drake May. His wide receivers are Emeka, Mbuka, and Devontae Adams. Hard to hate on that. But not like the biggest, flashiest guy. Devontae Adams was pretty rough start the last 6 games of this fantasy year last year. I know that because I had him. But he's the red zone threat for the Los Angeles Rams. So it could work out. And did I miss anybody? Is there anybody that's really going to be hurt if I don't talk and mention their team at all? I think I'm ready to wrap it up. I know I said some good things about Dakota's team and stuff. But I think I'm done. I'm saying too much, and I think it's not very good. So I did want to bring up something. I don't think this is going to go over well. Not really sure how to do it. I kind of floated it on one or two guys yesterday, and both hated the idea, and I'm sure everyone else will as well. As we all know, we try to do a punishment every single year. We do a punishment, okay? The punishment has been shit. It hasn't been working. Guys have been paying their way out of it. It hasn't been funny. Nothing's been funny. Nothing's been good. Nothing's been, some outfits are funny, sure, whatever. But I need something. I need pain. I need suffering. And I haven't seen that in a while. And that is me. That is what I think the league needs. I think that someone that finishes in last place needs to be hurt. I think someone who finishes in last place needs to feel pain. And what more painful than kicking him out of the league? Now, does this come on the light of a bit of a we've got an embarrassment of riches in fantasy talent in this league. And now we have a situation where Jared, a 3-time winner of this league, is looking on the outside, given it was his fault. It was his idea. But I do think if the guy wants to play, he should be able to play. And this is honestly all Peeler's fault. Peeler bailed on us and kind of put me in a spot where I brought in Garrett. And I can't, I'm not going to kick Garrett out. Garrett's fine. He's going to be a fun part of this league. I think that having some sort of a revolving door where the last place guy gets booted and has to sit on ice and sit on the bench for a year until he can come back. I picture it being imagine a guy like Adam Thompson comes in last place. And we get to make fun of him that he can't even play with us. Everything he says in the group chat, anything he says ever, It's like, dude, you're not even in the league. Shut up. You're out. But I understand this all means a lot to a lot of people, and being out could be, I think it's going to hurt your feelings, right? Like, it's going to piss you off to the point where you're mad at everybody. And I like that. I want that. But maybe the problem works itself out. Somebody comes out naturally of the league, and then we're back at 12 again. I think it could be something there, guys. I don't know if there's a way that this passes in vote. I think this comes into something Brandon just does, and everyone's got to deal with it. I mean, ultimately, everyone that's in the league is there because I want them to be. And I think if I make that happen, the last place guy, and by the way, this includes me, I would be out too. If I'm last place, I would be out of the league. I would run the league. I would still be your commissioner. That wouldn't change at all. I just don't get to have a team and play. I will still handle everyone's money. I will still run the draft. I will still do everything I need to do to my league. Maybe we have somewhere where not only are they out of the league, they have to be the sticker bitch the next year. They have to come and do all the same stuff with us. They're not out of the friends. They're not away from us. They just can't play and be a part of this. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to float it out there for now and see kind of what the backlash is. Honestly, that's kind of what I'm going to do here. But yeah, I think doing that for the punishment is the ultimate punishment. I think it would really, truly make everybody lock the fuck in all year long, which we don't have that problem. But maybe punishments, don't say it, Brandon. Don't say it. That's all, everybody. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm not going to do this every week. I'm just going to do it when shit pops off, when there's big trades, when there's drama, when there is shit that needs to be talked about. I'm going to talk about it. So thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.